guys, look, today is a special day. I am sitting here loaded with journals. Have a look at this. These are journals that I've collected over the years that friends have given me, that I've bought for myself. Um, Dream and believe. Life is what you make it. From the Bible, the Lord, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. To your basic journal, to your basic quick go-to notebook. I mean, there's all kind of things here. Ask and it should be given, seeking you shall find, knock and it'll be opened up to you. I mean, some of these are handmade journals I got for my birthday. Some of them are just generic ones from the store. This is the beginning of a new day. My goodness, some of my favorites that have been given to me by very special people in my life. And this one right here, dude, this one has torn pages in it. This one is from, I believe, 2000 and I usually write dates in all my stuff. I want to check here for you. 2013. So, with that being said, you understand, I believe in journaling. Although there are seasons where I don't really dive into it as much, I do believe in journaling. This video today is simply because God has been leading me to go into my journal. I've been looking for answers to questions in the season of my life. God, like, what does this mean? What am I supposed to do here? Should I move this way? Should I partner with this person? Should I take this job? Different things. And God's been really, I have this whole basket where all my journals go. And he's been leading me to go open that basket up. Today I finally did it. And I got to this one, which is Let Love Transform. And I just want to read a couple things out of it to you, share my thoughts on them, and leave it with you. Maybe this will inspire you to journal, or maybe a word you need is inside of my journal. So I just want to give you guys a few things. 2019, I took a 3-day sabbatical over at Sand and Surf in Laguna Beach. God, I needed to take a sabbatical. I wanted to take a sabbatical. I couldn't afford to. But God worked it out to where the lady who was co-leading the whole breakthrough workshop needed a bodyguard. And it was a friend of mine. So she brought me in as a personal bodyguard, but also got to experience the entire transformation weekend, which it worked out great. But this was from February 15th, 2019. It was called the Breakthrough 3-Dimensional Transformation Retreat, or a 3-day transformational retreat. So I'm going to read a couple of things, some of the things I'll stop at and explain what they meant to me. And maybe you should take notes. What is meant for you will come for you. I love that one as I look back on it, especially this morning, because it reminded me not to have to try to force things in life. That what God has for me, he's not trying to hide from me. He's not trying to play hide and seek or pin the tail on a donkey with your blindfold on. God really has something for you, and he's not trying to, make you chase it. It's for you on the path. And so that just keeps me out of that mindset of wondering, like, oh man, did I miss it or did I mess up? Like, God's grace is so important, because God's grace is what helps us when we make our mistakes or get off the path, or we make a bad decision. His grace redirects us, because ultimately God's desire is for us to meet up with things he's had preserved for us and things he's meant for us. So that's a great piece. You don't want to take advantage of grace, but grace is there available for you to help you out. Own who you are and stand for it. It's crazy because this 2 weeks ago, this lesson I've been working on for this group called Imagine LA Community on Instagram, I did a lesson where the homework was take a stand for something. And recently I've taken a stand for my purpose. That means that purpose is the premier, most important thing in my life that I have to protect and I have to nurture, and taking a stand for it in every single environment and owning who I am. Sometimes I forget who I am when I get involved in different pursuits, when I get involved with different relationships, when different seasons come, like right now we're in a season of this pandemic. It's easy to forget who you are. And we need journaling. We need friends to remind us. We need joy traps, as I like to set my joy traps, to remind us who we are, and then own that, and then take a stand. Not just passively go through this life, but really live while you're alive. Time is sacred, so have sacred time. I was really fooling around with this word sacred, going into the books and the definitions and trying to understand. And I'm really starting to see, always see time as an idea, but time, whatever this idea is, what it represents is still something very deep, and it is sacred, and we can't get it back. And the clock keeps ticking, and we need to live in that awareness. And so because time is sacred, have sacred time. That simply means to have time to consider how valuable time is. Take time to consider how valuable time is. Take time to consider how valuable time is. That means through meditation, mostly through meditation, to take time to breathe and consider. The clock is ticking. every breath is a new moment. And I can make these moments remarkable, which ultimately will lead up to a remarkable life if I'm operating in awareness and intentionality. If I quickly forgive myself and get rid of grudges and get rid of resentment and bitterness and hurt, man, this could be a remarkable life. Um, yeah, because when I think about it, I had a conversation with my friend last night just about so many men that look like me, which mean are my color, whether they're black or Latin or Ethiopian or just dark complexion, man. It just seems like, man, it's a lot of harsh things happening to people of my kind right now. And just recognizing it could have been me. Thank you to God's grace and His covering. And I know a lot of it has to do with, man, just so many different aspects of it. But I'm just say that for now. But it makes me consider, like, man, like I need to take advantage and really cherish these moments that I have to exist because somebody's praying for what I have. And oftentimes I recognize, I look back over my life, sometimes people are praying for what we're complaining about. It doesn't mean that we should settle where we are, but even as we move forward and seek progression, we should still do that in the spirit of gratitude. This one was amazing. My blockage and my call to action have a lot in common. The call to action on my life cures the blockage. So oftentimes I recognize that I was blocked because I wasn't operating in my call to action, which in layman terms can mean that I'm experiencing blockage in my life right now because I'm not following through with the last thing that God told me to do. It's like the action step, one step of faith opens the door to the next opportunity for this next step of faith. And I recognize when I start to feel blockage, the question I always have to ask myself is, what was the last thing God told me to do and did do? And did I do that? Love, trust, honesty, and communication. Those are four things I was working on during this 3-day transformational weekend. This was a great one too. For when I mess up, because we're human, we will. I apologize, I own it, and then how can I fix it? I apologize, I own it. How can I fix it? I apologize, I bring it to that person. I own it. Yes, this was me. No blame. I'm taking this for me. And how can I fix it? That 3-step pattern really helps to rebuild the bridges that are burnt when we offend somebody or when we operate outside of our integrity and we have to make things right. So apologize, own it, and how can I fix it? So this one was always good. This is something I preach, and this is where I got it from. Beliefs affect biology. Your beliefs affect your biology. Your beliefs is not your brain. Your beliefs happen in your mind, which is your being, and it tells your brain. Your beliefs inform your brain, and your brain informs your body, and your body just produces all these behaviors, which ultimately add to what your life experience is going to be like. And so I just remembered that, man, whatever I'm doing in life, whatever I'm saying, even what I'm saying right now, whatever I do with my body, all stems from some kind of belief that is up stored up in my mind, and you guys know I believe that a belief is nothing more than an idea that got promoted. So at some point, somebody told me something, and for whatever reason, I promoted that belief, the idea to a belief, and then it started ruling my life. Beliefs, man, they're important. So I need to pay more attention to what it is I believe because that is what's influencing what I do, and what I do is creating my life experience. Because you know how I say, we're not waiting. No, we're not meant to experience life. Life is intended to experience us, and so that's exactly what it's doing. And so I want to create my life based on beliefs that are going to benefit me, not harm me, not hurt me, or not ones that are popular, but ones that are in alignment with my core values. Um, a sensitivity to the feelings of fear can work to your benefit. It reminds us of the ever present flow of life. And so sometimes we talk about this fear thing and what is courage and moving forward in the face of fear. And one way of looking at this is like there is a very real benefit to fear. Um, Not to walk in fear, but recognizing that sometimes you feel that fear piece because there is a part of life that requires us. It requires us to move forward because time is moving and life doesn't really respond to our emotions like that. Like, oh, I don't feel like it, or I'm sad, or I'm angry. The clock keeps ticking. And so there's this very present fear that comes up. And it's not always like something bad's going to happen to you, but sometimes the fear that we experience or I've experienced in my life comes from recognizing that, man, like this is what's being required of me at this moment in this time. And usually there's a belief associated with if I'm ready, if I'm not ready, how is it going to work out? And it takes me out of this place of faith. But it's even in the face of fear, when you feel fear, you should start, or I had to start telling myself that this is where faith is needed. And so fear then became an indicator that my faith was needed. Hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I'm just sharing this stuff. Where there's fear, apply practice. Again, wherever you're scared or any kind of fear rises up, practice in that area. Don't necessarily practice doing it, but practice that thing that you're fearing. Find a safe place to practice so you can become better at it. Maybe it's a confidence issue. Usually it's a confidence issue. Usually it's a feeling of, am I able to do this, or can I handle the consequences of the outcome? So practice is always a great place to attack fear, even though it's not the only place. Ah, man, I wanted to take 3 sabbaticals in 2019. I think I did 2. Both of them were paid for. By the grace of God, He sent angel donors to make sure that I did that. So don't be fearful or upset or worried like if you don't have the money to necessarily go on a trip or do something. Like God will make a way. Psalm 77:19, God's way led through the sea, a way no one knew was there. So always believe that's possible. Man, so I did make some commitments out there that I'm not going to read, but the next page said to be epic. To be epic is to be remarkable. Be a major heroic character. Be epic, like live epically. And I mean, ultimately, all it's saying is that live while you're alive. Like really live. Don't just exist. Don't get what is it called? Robotic or just going through the motions, mechanical. Like really live. Live means to operate in your faith and go after your adventures and take the risk and trust the instincts. Like all those things are like what it really means to, in my mind, to live. So live while you're alive, because when you're not alive, you won't be able to. Don't fear reinvention. Man, you might have to reinvent yourself over and over again. I've written 2 books. And sometimes I go back to those books and I wish I could have said that differently, or do I still believe that? There's been presentations I've done, things I've said on video or I've said in classes. I'm like, oh, do I still feel that way? Like, man, look, we're ever evolving, and things about us are going to change. We may pursue things that we thought we wanted and decide we don't want them anymore. And it's okay to go back to the drawing board. You don't go back to the drawing board empty-handed. You go back with new lessons, new understanding, and new insight. So don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. It doesn't matter. You're not trying to keep up with anybody else, because we're not comparing ourselves to anybody else. If you need to reinvent, reinvent. And do it now. Do it now, because the longer you wait, it doesn't make it any easier. um, Man, this was for me a reminder to get knowledge, get experience, and get connections. Get knowledge, get experience, get connections. That means to be a learner of things, and then also to go and walk in faith, get that experience, and then create relationships. So learn, try, and connect. Yeah, learn, try, and connect. Connect means build relationships. Man, let's see. That's about dating and relationships. I forgot what this song by Sting is called "Secret Marriage." I'm gonna go listen to that today. Base all your decisions on love, and that's often advice that we get. But the part that we need to attach to that is verify that it's love and not fear. Sometimes love and fear can feel alike. So verify that it's love. The way I verify that it's love is going to First Corinthians in the Bible, and it tells me the characteristics of love. And then I'll go to Galatians 5 and look at the fruit of the Spirit. And if it operates in those characteristics and it bears those fruit, then it is love, because God is love, and that's His Spirit operating, and that's what He says the characteristics of love are. Galatians 5, First Corinthians, I believe it is 13. So you can give that a read. Man, this was on a 3-day retreat to talk about the career, like trying to identify a difference between calling, purpose, and a project. What is your calling? What is your purpose? And what is a project? And it was a great discussion. What the ultimate thing I took away from it is, what is finding you in each of those areas? What is finding you in life? What is finding you? Because there's things that we pursue, but then there's these things that keep pursuing us, these ideas or these social or economical or relational issues that keep finding us. And somewhere wrapped up in there is a calling, a project, or a purpose. And so start there. Start thinking, what always seeks me out? And then try to identify and put in those categories. Yeah. And then, of course, you understand it from what it is for today. But as you go through life, learning, trying, and connecting with other people, you're going to continue to evolve and maybe see it in a new light. And it's going to unfold. Like your purpose is something that you continually understand. I don't know anybody who just understood their full purpose and boom, got it, let's go. It was an unfolding as they died to self and died to ego and rose up in their trueness. The purpose became more clear. Let's see. Man, talked about creative potential. Talked about my I'm aware and want to explore. Talked about eroticism. That's a good part. I know you want to hear about that, huh? Maybe another time. This was so good. I wrote this down. This is something that came to me. The seemingly unfair and unnecessary challenges encounters develop qualities in us that are needed for what's coming, the things that we've prayed for. One more time. The seemingly unfair and unnecessary challenges, those encounters develop qualities within us that are needed for what's coming, the things that we've prayed for. And so that was a great piece of information, because oftentimes we use the word unfair, unnecessary. This is not right, but we're not aware in the moments, unless we do hindsight or we have prophetic gift to look forward, that those unfair or seemingly unnecessary moments are exactly what you need to develop it within you, what you're going to need for where you're headed. Wrap your head around that. Stay in the flow. Become aware. Beware of the stuck state. Stay in the flow state. Beware of the stuck state. It's easy to get stuck if we don't have different, if we don't have a certain infrastructure set up in our lives to remind us of who we are, remind us of why we're here, remind us of what we're supposed to be doing. So yeah, try not to get in the stuck state. Stuck state usually stems from trying to figure everything out, but there's so much more freedom and excitement of life in the question instead of trying to always find an answer. It's something I believe at this point. Operate in the supernatural. What we choose to carry dictates what we're able to receive. This is a capacity thing that was said by a guy named Ted Morano. He was a great guy who spoke at this event. What we choose to carry dictates what we're able to receive. Again, choosing to carry what's in our arms, what's in our hands, dictates what we're able to receive. Because if our hands are full of this, then how do I receive that? So life operates at this exchange, in this exchange philosophy. So you have to give in order to receive. You need to make space, if that makes sense. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Make space for what it is you want in your life. Yeah, I'm a giver. I'm generous. And so this quote stuck with me. It said, givers don't like things taken from them. And so that was a personal point. Maybe somebody else out there is a giver and they're generous. We don't like things taken from us because we want to give, but you taking it from us robs us of the fulfillment and the excitement and the joy of being able to give it to you. It's just you taking my gift for granted. I don't like it. What else is it I want to express through this? This video is about 17 minutes. That's fine. You're going to enjoy this, I'm sure. So this is from February 22nd. Lifestyle is the hero. Man, that was a huge piece for me. I recognized on that day, it was my Sabbath day. It was a Friday. Sabbath day, I don't work. I don't go online. I kind of just sit with God and enjoy life and enjoy his presence. And that's what came to me. Lifestyle is the hero. Understand that your lifestyle is the foundation from which everything, that is destructive or beneficial will flow from your life. Like lifestyle is the structure, it's the infrastructure from where you build positive or negative habits. Your lifestyle, not just this individual choice, but what is the lifestyle that I've created for myself? What is the things that I put in place, the rituals, the practices, the scheduling, the organization that I put in place that creates lifestyle? You'll find the hero in the lifestyle. I mean, that oftentimes is where your freedom, your deliverance will stem from. This lifestyle that you created for yourself, not this one moment, but this entire life. And the thing about lifestyle is that not only does it deliver you, but it keeps you delivered. Not only does it free you, but it keeps you free. It's a sustaining type thing. The lifestyle helps you sustain the happily ever after. The lifestyle helps you sustain walking in the supernatural, walking by faith. If you want to sustain anything, create a lifestyle for it to be sustained in, because a lifestyle creates the environment, and nothing can exist without an environment for it to exist in. The first question your goals will always ask, the first question your goals will always ask is, are you patient? Whenever you set out to pursue something, that's the first thing that your goal is going to respond to. You say, I want this house, or I want this relationship, or I want to do this traveling, or I want to have this impact on my generation. The first thing your goal says back to you is, are you patient? Because it's a process. It's a process. Some processes don't take as long as others. But it really does depend on our pride and our stubbornness and our willingness to just submit and really sacrifice for what it is we say we desire. Because, life's job is to call our bluff. You say you care about this. We'll see how much you care. You will be pushed. Let's see. Love isn't in how you do. Love is in how you do, not just in what you do. That's always a good one to remember. Let's see here. Still February 22nd, God spoke to me. He says, see me before you see my work and know that I am with you. See me before you see me work and know that I am with you. Yeah, that goes back to the belief thing. It's not just so much like, I saw God do this. I know he's doing it. I can see his hand at work, but just operating in that state of knowing he will never leave you nor forsake you. So even if you can't see his hand, just know that he's there. That does a tremendous work for your confidence and for your bravery, for mine at least. Um, it's a question me and my friends always ask each other: what would you do if you had faith? And it can almost seem insulting at face value. Like, what do you mean I do have faith? But like, nah, for real, for real, for real. What would you do if you had faith right now? What would you do right now if you weren't worrying? What would you do right now if you weren't being selfish? What would you do right now if you weren't in a stuck state? Good questions to ask ourselves, because oftentimes we're more stuck, we're more worried, we're more fearful than we're realizing. Um, and sometimes we're in the middle of a faith failure and it doesn't feel like that from where we are. We feel like we're being cautious, we feel like we're being wise, but take someone outside to come in and say, like, hey, if you really have faith right now, like if you really have faith right now, what would you be doing? It's a great question. And also a reminder, stick to the plan. And so I had another Sabbath on March 15th, and this vision came to me. I won't express the vision because it's personal, but one thing that did come and said, don't seek status items. And one of my friends told me this country saying yesterday. She said that only the foolish buy what they want and beg for what they need. So yeah, just talking about where we invest our time, energy, and treasures. Invested in what we need, not just what we want, because we'll spend all our energy and efforts and treasures on what we want that don't have anything to in order to obtain what we need. And that's just foolish. We have to go around begging people for what we need when we've been given the resources, get what we need. We just spent it on once. Holla. All right, so nothing can exist without a belief. So whatever ailments, or this is like the big thinking for me, whatever ailments that you operate in, whatever fears, whatever joys, whatever happiness, whatever, all of it, they need a belief to stand on. A belief is the bag that houses these, the belief is the bag that houses all the behaviors that are going to produce whatever that thing is. So if you really believe it, negative or positive, man, your body is going to start responding to trying to manifest whatever that belief is, man. So do yourself a favor and believe, be optimistic until it leads to a place of faith. And faith meaning that you're pushing towards the things that God promises you should have and would have, that He has for you, that He's prepared for you. Ooh, trapped emotions. March 21st is a big day. It says, don't suppress, overcome. Yes, don't suppress these emotions, overcome. Emotions are a record of the past. And if you know anything about the mind, which I know very limited, that, yeah, we store emotions, we store memories, and there's emotions that I think store in our amygdala that are attached to that memory, and they can be triggered by sound, color, anything. Anyway, sorry, I go off on a tangent. I really want to understand the mind better. But it says that emotions are a record of the past. And so if you have any kind of trapped emotion in your body, emotions can manifest into illnesses and diseases, literally cancer and things of the sort of such. So if you really, sometimes the healing is not in the medication, it's not in the procedure or surgery. Sometimes healing is an awareness that you have a trapped emotion and that you give it freedom to pass and say, oh shoot, I feel anxiety, I feel stress in my body, and just get in that place of meditation and say, stress, I'm allowing you to leave. I permit you to leave my body. I permit you to travel your course and remove yourself. Sometimes it is that simple, whether you want to believe it or not. I've had friends do that, use their power of their tongue to release an emotion trapped in their body and see themselves healed. I mean, that's part of what the Bible says that we can do in the name of Jesus. Sometimes emotions get trapped inside of us because we are in environments where we feel like we can't speak or can't do. We're in like these abusive or toxic relationships where we're hindered or forcibly hindered or forcibly limited. And that's why it's good to have safe places where you can go and just fully just be your authentic self. Being authentically you is the best way to stay healthy. Honestly, it's the best way to keep emotions flowing through you. It's like, oh, I have this emotion. It's not a good emotion. It's an emotion. You know, you feel it, let it pass through you. You're human. I'm never numb. I want to feel. That's why this heart is on my sleeve. I want to feel it all. But I needed to feel it for as long as I need to feel it, and that's it. I don't want to get trapped in it. I don't want to take residence up in that emotion. Just let them all just continue to pass through me. Man, so this is cool. Check this out. It says emotions that remain become a mood. Mood remains becomes an attitude. An attitude that remains becomes a perspective, and a perspective that remains becomes a personality. Your personality that you have this day stemmed all the way back from an emotion that became a mood, and it just started snowballing into a personality. That's why people say, "Oh, this is who I am." Well, this version of who you are was based on a feeling or an emotion you had one day, and it just took its course, and you didn't. It was left unchecked, or it was encouraged and nurtured, and now this is your personality. So even for the good, like how did you become an optimistic, joyful, excited person? And I had an emotion one day, and I just kept nurturing and feeding it, and it became a mood that I was always in. Then it became an attitude, which was my, my personal self-reflective state and perspective on life. And from that perspective, it became my personality. And I'm stuck with it, stuck with just being happy. Jeez. All right, I think that's enough. This is 25 minutes. I'll do this last page. I won't go on April 5th. I'll just stop on this last page. And it says that joy is a side effect of transformation. It's probably a good page to end on. Joy is a side effect of transformation. As you allow yourself to transform, you put yourself in alignment with the flow of life, the circle of life, the cycle of life. Like when you're in alignment with that and you're allowing things to come in and you embrace them and you allow them to go, and things come in and you embrace them and you allow them to go, and things come in and you embrace them and you allow them to go, you find yourself in this flow and you're in a continual, perpetual state of evolution and transformation. And in there's a big sense of joy, because you're not trying to hold on to things that need to go. You're not trying to control things that are beyond your control. You're actually allowing yourself to experience life and not to get stuck in any states. And of course, transformation needs to happen, and there's times where I even knowing all this, I'll forget, because what you know doesn't help you if you don't remember it in the moment that you need to apply it. So try not to suffer from amnesia, but again, even amnesia comes from me just having too much, trying to hold on and hoard too much. Let it go, let it flow, hold on to your essentials and trust God with the rest of it. You are gravitating towards what you believe. And so if you ever want to know what direction your life is going in, think about what you're believing. And that's why you're thinking, feeling, acting, and behaving the way that you are, because there's a belief up here. There's an idea that you promoted to a belief, and that belief is up there and it's pulling you, it's drawing you in. So make sure it's a place that you want to go and want to be and want to end up at. Bring fear to light. That's why it's good to expose yourself and be transparent and vulnerable, kind of like what I'm doing now, or maybe even a more deeper sense with people that you trust. Don't give fear a stronghold in your life by keeping it in the darkness, because that's where it can just have its way with you, and that's not what we want. Whew, man. And the last thing from this page is, what emotion are you speaking from? Always ask yourself that. What emotion am I speaking from? I know these words are coming from a specific place. Where am I speaking from? What emotion am I speaking from? And do I need to be cautious of this emotion that I'm speaking from? Because this emotion may not be true to my core values, and it may not be really where I'm at in life. It just may be this moment. And so really asking yourself, what emotion am I speaking from? Just so I can be aware. I think awareness is a great piece of continuing a healthy evolution process, and continue to gravitate towards the things we really want in life, and avoid the things we don't. So that was just me sharing a little bit from my journaling. Those are like 5 pages of Let Love Transform. And so hopefully you'll start journaling too, because I think in my next video, I might go back to 2013 and read some of that to you guys. This was powerful. This was helpful for me. I love the video blog, if that's what you want to call this, and share it on my YouTube channel. You can go to donovand.com to get more information about me. And you can always send me a message through my website. I'm going to start a form on there for journaling, one for the COVID situation. I have a lot of things that I want to start doing, and because I'm taking a stand for my purpose. And this is what my generation needs from me. I am the cure. You are the cure. When you walk in your purpose, you release that cure to a needed generation. So I love you guys. Thank you for listening.